Before we start creating our own particle effects, I thought it would be a good idea to take a look at some existing ones so we can see exactly how they come together and what sort of things we can achieve. If you download the assets for this chapter, you're going to notice a special folder that really only exists in the assets for this chapter, and that folder is this VFX or Visual FX reference prefabs. Inside here is every particle system we're going to create in this chapter. The reason I've added these is because sometimes it can be difficult to remember all of the properties of all the different modules, especially if you're following along with a video. With this, you're able to just take a look at these prefabs in case you miss a step and see exactly how they're supposed to be set up. That being said, let's go ahead and take a look at a particle effect. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Stink Hit prefab and drag it into my scene. The Stink Hit prefab is the particle effect that's going to be played on the ground whenever we use our stink attack and we lob a stink projectile. We'll notice right now that we have a couple different things happening. We've got sort of these little dot objects, and we also have these clouds. However, if I stop this and play it again, we're also going to notice a ring particle system. That ring particle system doesn't loop like the rest of these does, and instead only plays the first time. This is going to bring us to the first very important thing to always remember when dealing with particle systems, particle effects, and visual effects in general. We're not really going to try to have one particle system do too much. It's really impossible to use just a single particle system to make a really cool looking effect. Most of the effects that we really like looking at, that really convey some information, and that look really awesome, are a series of several particle systems that all come together. In this case, for the Stink Hit prefab, we have 3 particle systems. The first particle system is the Stink Hit itself, the second is a burst, and the third are these dusty bits. If we ever want to see them isolated, we can just go ahead and turn off the ones we don't want to see. So the Stink Hit is this part right here. We can see now that they're just several simple particles that are growing and rotating slightly and changing color over their lifetime. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next particle system that plays into this particle effect. I'm going to select the gas AoE burst and enable it. Now when I hit play, we'll see that this effect is that ring that sort of appears and bursts outwards. Finally, I'll turn on our dusty bits. And now we can see the little dust particles that appear inside those clouds. Again, several systems that come together to make one visual effect. Let's go ahead and take a look at our frost cone. Again, I'm in the VFX reference prefabs folder. I'm going to locate the frost cone prefab and drag it into the scene. This prefab appears to just be disabled by default, so let's go ahead and enable it. And we'll hit simulate. And we'll see that this is the visual effect for our frost attack. Again, I can see that this is multiple objects in the hierarchy, so I can expand it, and notice that it's 3 different particle effects. We have our frost cone, we have our ice bits, and we have our frost cone inner. Now that we've taken a look at some of these existing particle effects, and we know where they are in the project so that you can reference them yourselves, we should probably set up our interface to make it easier to create these particle systems. In the next section, we're going to modify our interface a little bit, and we're going to create a new scene specifically for building our particle effects and our attacks in the Zombie Toys project.